Hi, I'm Suzanne, and today I would like to teach you Cobra pose. I'd like to teach you Cobra pose because it's a fundamental back bend that we do in yoga. But I'm actually going to teach a variation that is very low, very conservative, in order that you can train yourself as a beginner or as somebody that might be dealing with an injury to protect yourself and to reintegrate or integrate the foundations for healthy back bends. So a little bit of introduction. Cobra pose is done on the belly, so I'm going to describe something by standing on my knees so that you can actually see a little bit clearer what I'm describing. So I'm going to turn my back side to you for a moment. First of all, on the pelvis, we have the sacral part of the spine, the lumbar spine, the rib cage spine or thoracic spine, and the cervical spine. Okay, so that's the full length of our spine. Tailbone low down. We have our hip bones in front of our waist. And then you also have the pubic bone, which is just below the hip bones in front of the body. And one of the key indicators that we use in yoga for back bends is to spiral the inner thighs back. And this is a very subtle action, but it's a releasing of the flesh of the inner thighs backwards, which tends to create a little bit of an arch in the low back. So the reason we do this is to create space in the sacrum so that we can lengthen the low back down. Now, I don't want to tuck my tailbone down. It's a very subtle lengthening down. But if I just try to move my tailbone down without creating that spiraling action, there's really no space for it to go, and I create more of a compression in the low back. So I want to turn my inner thighs slightly back, creating space and a little bit of an arch, and then soften my tailbone down. It'll be moving down toward my heels as I'm on my belly. So I'm going to take that action now and show it to you on the floor. Let's come on down to your belly. Lower yourself down to the floor. Now go ahead and bring your forehead down to the floor. I'm going to keep my head lifted up so that I can talk you through this. I want you to walk your legs back. Just try to capture some length back. Have your legs about a hip width distance apart and your feet hip width with the toenail side of your foot down. Have your hands underneath your shoulders, fingertips in line with the front of the shoulders, or they could be forward of the shoulders if that feels more comfortable for you. So to begin with, you're going to shrug the shoulders away from your ears and down your back. The outer shoulders draw back and down. The hands spread out. In the low part of the spine, you're going to spiral your inner thighs up and soften your tailbone towards your heels. Keep your outer ankles hugged in. They tend to want to float out when you spiral your inner thighs. Keep your ankles hugged in and your toes pointed. Press down into the feet. Feel your kneecaps lift off the floor, keeping your legs engaged. And then lift your low belly in, the space between your pubic bone and your navel, your belly button. Lift that spot in and up. That'll help to stabilize the low back. So again, your forehead is down on the floor. You're going to take an exhale here. Keep the belly in, the legs engaged, the feet pressing down. And then on your next inhale, looking down and slightly forward, you're going to lift your chest up. Keep your low ribs down, shoulders back. As you exhale, lower down to the floor. Again, inhale, pull the chest forward, roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. And exhale, lower. Keep moving like that with your breath. Imagine that the length of the spine goes right out through the crown of your head. So you want to keep all sides of the neck nice and long. So try not to lead with your chin, rather lead with your chest. Use upper back muscles. Good. If you feel any compression in the low back, take it a little bit lower. There's no need to go up higher. You're working to integrate these actions in your body in a safe and fluid way. Sometimes in yoga, going slower is faster. So it's a practice that you're going to integrate hopefully on a regular basis and learn these things well before going into bigger back bends. For additional challenge, if this feels fine on your body, you're going to lift your hands off the floor as you come up. That way you know you're using your upper back muscles. Squeeze those shoulder blades together and lower. Keep pressing the legs down and stretching them back. They're really the key. They give you a lot of strength and stability, but keep the belly in too. Good. After several rounds, go ahead and rest your forehead down to the floor. Stretch your hands back, turn your face one direction. Rest your head, rest your neck, and shift your hips side to side a little bit. Let's make sure the low back is nice and relaxed. Good. And then bring your hands back into position. I want to show you another variation. If it bothers you to hold your neck up, what you can do when you lift up into your back bend with all those same actions, as you exhale, you can turn your head to one side. And then as you come up, you turn back to center and lift up, shoulders back. And exhale, turn your head to the other side. That just stretches the neck a little bit and creates a little bit more comfort. Find a variation that works for your body. Make sure you give equal time to both sides. Good. Over time, you might be able to make bigger back bends, sliding hands a little bit further back and lifting more ribs up off the floor. But don't be in a rush. Go to the place that makes you feel safe and secure. The back can be very vulnerable in the low part of the spine. And what you're doing by contracting your back muscles and lifting your chest away from the floor is creating strength in the back. It also creates opening in the chest. To come out, you're going to tuck your toes, press your knees down and lift your belly in. Press yourself up to hands and knees. And then if it's comfortable for you, you can sit back on your heels. If you know downward facing dog, you can move into downward facing dog. Take a rest. Child's pose would be a great option as well. So don't forget that you want to balance out the effort. You want to stabilize the low part of your spine. Focus the back bend in the upper part of the chest. Keep the collarbones wide, the upper arm bones moving back. Find the stability of the shoulder blades moving into the chest. Namaste.